Hey everybody, welcome back to World of Tanks with Hachiman. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to talk to you about the 10 best tanks for making credits. Now, let me make sure we're clear on this. When I say 10 best tanks, I'm going to be talking about normal tanks in the tech tree, not premium tanks. Okay, because if you need to make credits, you play premium tanks. Premium tanks make extra credits, and then of course the best way is to play premium tanks with premium time and not fire premium ammunition. You'll make plenty of money. But if you're one of these people that you're playing true free-to-play grind, and you need to know the tanks that are best for making money, without having to spend real money on a premium tank and real money on premium time. That's what this video is going to do. So, here we go. Alright everybody, we're starting with the number 10. Okay, this is the 10th best non-premium money-making tank. The Sherman III Tier 5 British Medium. Okay, once fully upgraded, this tank is almost virtually identical to the Tier 5 American Sherman tank. It has the same fantastic choice of guns, M1A1 or the M4. Great quick firing 3-inch gun with excellent penetration for a Tier 5 medium, great DPM, or the big 105 derp with 53 millimeters of pen. It is basically the same speed, basically the same specific power. Good overall, all-around medium tank on mobility and firepower. A little light on armor, but you don't play a Sherman for armor. The Sherman III earns 6,044 credits per game. Now what that means is based on all the games that have been reported, not taking into account premium time or specials, just based on win, loss, and general performance of the tank. This tank on average earns 6,044 credits per game. Okay, so, and it is our number 10 moneymaker. Alright, and for the number 9 money-making tank, we come to the German tech tree. And I hate to admit it, but yes, you're looking at a self-propelled gun. The number 9 average credit maker is the Sturm II, with a 6,151 average credits earned, over 100 more than the Sherman III. This machine has it is what it is. It's a Tier 4 artillery. No point in dressing it up with a 15 centimeter gun. 350 average damage. You know, it's an artillery, but it's an artillery that makes money. So, moving on. For number 8, we continue in the German tech tree, and we take a look at the Stug 3G Tier 5 tank destroyer. This is, of course, a turretless tank destroyer that can be played one of two ways. You've got two different excellent guns. You've got the 105 derp, which is of the Hetzer fame that everybody loves at the Tier 4 Hetzer because it just tends to one-shot everything it shoots at. As a side note, this gun can fire AP, and even at Tier 5 it can do horrendous damage with AP ammunition. Or you get an excellent long barrel 7.5 centimeter gun that gets 150 millimeters of penetration. This is the same gun that's basically on the E25 and the Panther M10. It is not the fully upgraded gun on the Panther, but it does come on the Panther. That gets a pretty decent reload time, completely unequipped with rammer or anything special. It's 4.3 seconds with 135 average damage, giving this machine at Tier 5 an excellent DPM, which can be boosted immensely with rammer and vents. It's also extremely accurate gun, .32 dispersion, 1.6 aiming time. It fires quickly, dishes out good damage, is very accurate. The armor's not fantastic, but it's a little bouncy, 80 millimeters on the front with some sloping. If people hit the upper plates, it will tend to bounce off. You don't want to get hit right here. And the tank is pretty mobile overall. You've got an 18.68 specific power, so it gets up to its top speed of 40 extremely quickly. Even going uphill, it tends to do better than even some medium tanks at Tier 5. The Stug 3G earns 6180 credits per game, so if you want better earning potential than the Sherman III but don't want to play an artillery, you can play this little bastard. For number 7, we come to the French. We say Vive la France, and we look at the BDRG-1B, the French Tier 5 heavy tank, and one of only 2 Tier 5 heavies, one of only 3 heavies total that actually made this list. Heavy tanks are not renowned for making money because they tend to have high repair costs. This machine is number 7 on our list, making 6196 credits per game, just slightly more than the Stug 3. And you know, this machine, a lot of people don't like it, and I don't really know why. You've got a decent gun, a 90mm, which very few Tier 5 tanks get 90mm. Penetration 135 is okay. It's not fantastic, but it's perfectly on par with the T1 heavy tank, for example. A little lighter than the KV-1, but it's good. But you get an average damage of 240, which gives it a punch that you don't get out of the other Tier 5 heavy tanks generally, like the KV-1 and the T1 heavy tank. Reload time is very slow, 9.1 seconds. This is the first heavy tank you're going to get where you will have to manage a longer reload time. KV-1, T1 heavy fire very quickly. Aiming time and dispersion's okay. It's not bad, it's not fantastic. This tank, what I think most people hate about it is it's very slow. Its top speed is 30 kph and its specific power is only 12 horsepower per ton. Means not only does it not drive at a very good top speed, but it takes some time to get there. Even still though, it's a money maker. And then we come to number 6 on the list. Number 6, well, it's another artillery. It's the American Tier 4 T-82 HMC, which you will all remember used to be a Tier 3 tank destroyer packing a ridiculous howitzer, which at Tier 3 made this machine have a nasty tendency to one-shot everything it went up against, if you could manage the like 14-second reload time or whatever ungodly time the reload was. Wargaming turned this into an SPG instead, so it's now artillery. This machine, it's a 105mm Tier 5 howitzer, which gets you an average damage of 410, and it fires every 12.5 seconds, which is pretty quick for an artillery, even at Tier 4, and that's completely unmodified. So as an artillery, it's got excellent DPM, and it aims pretty quickly. It aims in about just under half the time. So if you want a seal clubbing artillery that can make you good credits, this is your guy right here at 6,215 credits per game. Again, completely unmodified without premium time or anything along those lines. So that's the halfway point. On to number 5. And number 5 is back into the German tech tree for what is, in my opinion, one of the most dangerous tier for tier tank destroyers in the game, the Tier 6 Nashua. Now, this machine takes a different type of player. The first thing you need to know about this tank is that it has no armor. Absolutely none. Its armor is non-existent at 30mm, 20, and 20. In other words, Tier 5 tanks firing HE out of derp shells will generally achieve full penetration. You will get one-shotted by a KV-2 or an OI. However, what offsets that, what makes this tank so horribly dangerous, is the gun. It is a Tier 6 tank destroyer that can load the long 88, the 88cm Pack 4.3 L71 gun. This is a monster of a gun with 203mm of penetration with standard ammo, enough to punch through the front of Tier 8 heavy tanks, which this will occasionally go up against. But with that kind of penetration, 240 average damage, and a reload time of 6 seconds unmodified, you can get this tank down to a 5-second reload time with a rammer and Brothers in Arms, or a rammer and chocolate. You can get down to 5.4 seconds, I think, with just a rammer, give or take. And at 5.4 seconds, you're getting outrageous DPM. You're getting something to the tune of 2600 DPM with the ability to damage any tank in the game you will face. This gun, I played the Tiger II exclusively with this gun. I never put the 105, and I had no trouble punching through the sides of tier 10 heavies like an E100 if you just shoot it in the right spot. So this machine in the number 5 spot earns 6,500 credits per game, making it a substantial jump over the previous 5 tanks. So here we go. Number 4 on the list, the first and, in fact, I believe only Soviet tank on the list, the Tier 5 tank destroyer Su-85, another turretless tank destroyer like the Nashua and the Stug 3. This machine is an incredible match for the Stug 3, and in fact it was captured Stug 3s that impressed the Soviets on such a need to have a machine like this. And in fact, the first SU turretless tank destroyers were basically ripped off directly from German designs. The Su-85 is a turretless tank destroyer that has, while it has mediocre armor at 45mm frontally, it's got some spots that'll bounce a shot around the gun mantle and the upper holes if you're firing low caliber guns. It is pretty quick, top speed of 55, and a specific power of 16.95, meaning it has the ability to reach top speed pretty quickly, and it traverses at 37 degrees per second, so it's not as easy to flank as a lot of other turretless tank destroyers. And then the guns. Oh, the guns. Well, first off, you got a couple different options. You got the 122mm derp from KV1 fame, if you like, but really the one you want is this guy right here, the Tier 7 85mm D5S 85BM. This gun gets you a reload time of 5.8 seconds, okay, with an average penetration of 144, which is substantial for a Tier 5 tank destroyer, against the targets you're going to be shooting at, with an average damage of 180. So you should have the penetration to handle Tier 5 tanks, no problem. Most Tier 6s and some Tier 7s if you're shooting at the right point, with just really excellent DPM for a Tier 5 machine. And this nasty little devil earns even more than the Nashua at 6661 credits per game. And in the number 3 spot, we've got the tank that I hate more than any other tank in the game. And I hate it because it's completely bull. Never produced, never even designed, really, never made a mock-up. It's just a concept. And yet somehow this tank makes it into World of Tanks at Tier 6, everybody's favorite super heavy, the OI. What can I say? Ridiculous armor, 150mm front and rear, making it extremely hard to penetrate by many tanks of comparable and lower tier. And 150 armor is BS because this is so well angled most of the shots will bounce. Your only chance to penetrate this guy in the front is hope his turret is turned slightly so that this is now flat instead of angled, or get to his side. Okay, 70mm on the side, you can punch right through with just about anything. Small tanks can get right up next to it, light tanks and whatnot, where he can't get his gun down. However, gun depression is very good, 10 degrees, okay? Choice of 2 devastating guns. Option number 1, 10cm gun. This is overall your more skilled player's gun, I think, is the best way to put it. At Tier 7, it gets 175mm of penetration, the same amount, at Tier 6, the same amount of pen as the top gun on an IS, alright, with an average damage of 300. This has a little bit of a long reload time and 11.5 seconds per shot without any upgrades. However, its armor will keep you in the game easily. Your other option is the option everybody goes with, the 15 centimeter derp, the howitzer type 96. Absolutely ridiculous, stupid BS of a gun with 121 millimeters of pen on AP ammo, 150 on heat, and 75 on high explosive. The high explosive rounds average 9-10 damage. You get 700 on heat and AP. You can fire AP with this gun and actually penetrate a lot of tanks for a lot of damage. Its reload time is extremely slow, worse than the KV2 at 24.9 seconds. And I think the best you can get this to with a rammer, with vents, with Brothers in Arms, and if you run onigiri, I believe is the premium food for Japanese tanks, best you can get to is about 20.5 seconds with this gun. But the OI earns 6,691 credits on average without any modifications for premium time or any special events. And at number 2, yes, it's a Bishop. Tier 5 British SPG. The Bishop was built on the Valentine chassis with this big giant box on top of it to hold the howitzer. This was a stopgap measure machine for the British because they really needed SPGs and they were slow to produce and we were slow to produce, so they were coming up with anything they could. Anyway, the history doesn't matter. This machine, fully equipped, gives you a 4.5-inch howitzer, okay, which is kind of an odd number. 4.5-inch howitzer is 117 millimeter, if I'm doing my math right. It's a which gives you an average damage per shell of 450. It's a quick firing gun, 12.4 seconds without a rammer or anything, so you can get the reload time almost down to 10 seconds properly equipped, which makes it a very quick firing machine. And that's where it can really ramp up the DPM. It's slow, 24 kph top speed, 9.25 specific power. You're not getting anywhere fast in this guy, but he's an artillery. You shouldn't really have to. The Bishop Tier 5 SPG earned 6,946 credits per game, a full 250 over the Tier 6 OI, making it the second best moneymaker. And number one is back into the Japanese tech tree for the Ohi Experimental. The Ohi Experimental looks almost exactly like the OI at Tier 6, with some slight differences, but it looks pretty identical. What makes this machine different from the OI, beyond the fact it's a tier lower, is that it's faster. It's got a 5 kph higher top speed. It has much less armor, 75 millimeters front, 70 in the side and rear. So its armor does not hold up at Tier 5 the way the OI's does at Tier 6. Tier 5 medium tanks will pen this armor easily, shoot for flat spots, shoot for turrets. You don't want to shoot here if you can avoid it, but any of these flat spots will do. And of course the sides, one big giant flat spot. But this tank mounts a Tier 6 10 centimeter cannon with 130 average penetration, which puts it right on par with machines like the KV-1, the T-1 Heavy, but with 300 average damage per shell and a 9.6 second reload time. So it's got a reload up there with the BDR-G1B, but it does 25% more damage than the BDR-G1B, giving it an 1877 W8 complete, or average damage per minute, completely unmodified. The gun's reasonably accurate, not great, but not bad at .39 and 2.7 second aiming time. This thing is a beast of a credit earner, earning 7,862 credits per game, 900 more than the number 2 machine, the Bishop. So, why did I tell you guys all this? Because If you want to know, if you can't afford premium tanks and you can't afford premium time, and you want to know the machines that make the best credits based on all the stats accumulated in all the games, these are they. These are the tanks you want to have in your garage when you just need to grind credits. And you know what? I understand why these tanks make the money they make. All of these machines are compelling in their own way, with one or two exceptions. I don't really think the T-82 and the Sturm Panzer, but all the other machines in this list definitely have compelling features. So, hey guys, please like the video, subscribe below, comment. All those things would really help the channel out, and please share the channel and the videos with your friends, and we will see you next time.